today we will be taking the intro class for the Strategy Factory. And I mean, if anyone here is joining us for the first, I would like to know if anyone here is joining us for the first time. If it's the first time ever, Mr. Afalabi, please would you be kind to mute your mic? Thank you very much, sir. Um, I like for us to have as much an interactive class as possible. And to do that, I would like for, anyone that is willing to please write their name and the industry that they operate in the comment section. So say, for instance, I'll show you what I mean by that. You could do this, say Mercy. Is anyone here Mercy? Mercy and real estate, something like that. Only because I find that during the course of the conversation, it will make a lot more sense if I am able to weave my slides around the industries that we operate in. That way, when you leave this class, you have tangible knowledge that you can immediately start to, apply in your business. So if you can just, hi, Mr. Linus, would you like to say something? Okay, I'm assuming that that's an error. All right, thank you very much, Kende. I see I see you. Um, so while we are at that, I will just get on with the class. Now, the Lim Simple Strategy Factory introductory class is a way of helping businesses get sort of like a footing of what they could be doing wrong with their business and show you what your business could possibly do if you fix those things at the beginning. If you're coming to us for the first time, this is the first time you're ever attending any of our session. Lim Simple is an acronym for Live Investing Money Business Made Simple. And the reason behind our name is that we find that, I mean, starting a business, running a business, entrepreneurship is quite hard, right? When you take a lot of classes, you hear so many English and so many, you know, business jargons that you almost don't have anything tangible to work with. And it makes doing business even more difficult. So, our goal as a company is to help you demystify and shed off all the many lingua that you hear and dial down into the practical things that you can start to do immediately to grow your business. And we have, over the past decade, created the Lim Simple Business Academy, which includes the Lim Simple Strategy Factory, the Lim Simple Mastermind, and the convention, and our one-on-one sessions that we have with business owners. We have, over a decade too, worked with a couple of the companies that you see on the screen. We have worked with the federal government, we've worked with oil and gas, real estate company, automobile companies, name it. And all of these businesses have had tremendous growth by working with us. However, what we find is that a lot of these businesses that have worked with us have, at one point or the other, gone through this introductory class that we are currently taking. And so, what we believe is that over the course of the years, we've worked with about 4,000 entrepreneurs, and of that number, 52 of them already do a billion in revenue right now. I'd like for us to take this class as important as possible because this number on the screen and the revenue that they were able to do, they created a lot of the strategies that they have used to scale their business from as simple as the class that we're about to take. So to get really started, right, I wanted to take a little bit of time. I like as much people as possible to unmute their mic and let's talk quickly. What exactly do you really want from your business? What do you want your business to do for you? If you're just starting out your business, let's say that you haven't really created structure, you're currently the CEO, the COO, the salesperson, the retail person, the customer support person, or if you have structure already, what do you want for your business to do and to be for you? I like anybody that's willing to unmute their mic. Let's get talking first. Hello. Would anyone like to say anything? In the absence of a contribution, I think that the reason why it's important to know what we really want in business is that a lot of times we find that entrepreneurs start their businesses because they want for the business to pay the bills. They want for the business to solve a problem for them, which is not entirely bad, right? The point of a business is to create something that is able to sustain. Oh, hello, Ma. Would you like to, I see that you said yes. Would you like to say something? Okay. So, as I mean, which is fine, right? When you start a business, the business is supposed to help you solve the problem that you're currently experiencing. However, what we really want to take out from this session is to identify what a business is supposed to do for you as an entrepreneur and how that is supposed to also reflect in the way you grow your business, in the people you hire in your business, in the offers that your business provides to the service audience that you're trying to get to, and to the people that work for you and how you grow your company. So what we find over time is that what humans really want is a summation of a couple of things that I would write on my screen. The first would be that we really, at the core of everything, want, number one, financial freedom. We want a business that gives us the ability to take care of the people that really matter to us, take care of ourselves without really feeling like we are toiling for nothing. Some people want good health, right? They want a business that gives them access to the best medical services that they can get during maybe an emergency, cons- really reliable healthcare system, constant checkups for themselves, for their family, for their relatives. Some people want to build an asset because at the end of the day, saving money is a good practice, but saving money and not building assets is not a great strategy. Some people want to make enough money so that they can build assets for themselves and for their generation. For other people, it might be because they want to retire in style, right? Nobody wants to be a burden to the people that they love when they retire. So they want to have enough money that they're able to do the things that they really want in old age. And so some people, they just want quality education for themselves and for the children that they bear. Because one thing we find is that a lot of times for children, the quality of the education that they receive a lot more times is more important than the education, or if they even know what they studied at all. So it might be because you want good quality education for your children, which would somehow mean that they have a better chance at accessing, live, growing a good network for themselves as they age. But what we find, however, is that for every room that you get into, there are lots of entrepreneurs in them. Some of these entrepreneurs understand exactly how to structure their business and how to grow a business. And for some others, they do not. And in some rooms, we find that an entrepreneur is an employee with just one client. So if you currently, right now, work for somebody, you are still an entrepreneur. The only problem, which we find that a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of employees do not understand, is that the client that you currently have is your boss. And so that's why if you work in a 9 to 5 and you come in one day and you get a mail that says we currently no longer need your services, your paying client at that point, which is your boss, has terminated your contract. That means you have lost the job. But if you're a business owner, you are an entrepreneur with many clients. The clients in this case would be the different customers that are currently patronizing you. The clients for you too would also be the staff that work for you, because you created a business to not only prefer solutions to the people that need your services, but you're also preferring solutions, which is a job security for the people that you have employed to work for you. Now, having known that, I want us to go straight into the module, right? And like I said, this is a session on strategy. But for you to create strategy for your business, you have to fully understand what a business means. So to get started, I'd like us to fully get what is a business. Now, there are no right answers and there are no wrong answers. So long as you've been in business for a long time, or you just started business, or you've got a concept of what a business should be, then your definition is right. And I'll show you why. So I'd like to know, again, I like for this to be as interactive as possible. So would anyone like to tell me what their definition of what a business means or what a business is? Anyone? Would anyone like to let us know what they think a business is? What is a business to you? Okay. So, in the absence of a definition, I just let us know what we have defined a business as. And to be fair, it's really not a definition, it's a definition by Josh Kaufman. Josh Kaufman, in his book, The Personal MBA, says that a business is. Oh, I think that I saw someone. Hello. Would you be kind to just unmute your mic and say something?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to give my own definition, but I thought that it had already moved on.
Oh, no, no,
So,
no, no, no. Go on, please. Go on, please.
well, from my point of view, it's an activity where you provide either goods or services in exchange for money.
Mm, I like that. And see, I said earlier on, thank you so much for that, right? And so, like I said earlier, there are really no right definition or wrong definitions because you said an exchange of goods and services, which we could, cumulate to being something of value for money, right? And if you check the definition on number 5, it says that so that business makes enough profit. So, again, thank you very much for your right definition. But according to Josh Kaufman, he says that a business is this: a repeatable process that, number one, creates and delivers something of value that people want or need at a price that they are willing to pay in a way that satisfies the customer's needs and expectations so that the business brings in enough profit to make it worthwhile for the owners to continue operations. Now, the course of tonight, in the next 30 to 45 minutes, what we're going to be deciphering is this definition, right? Breaking it down completely. Because according to Josh Kaufman, if your business is able to tick all 6 processes, then you have something that is viable. You have a business that would stand the test of time. You have a business that is going to serve you and is also going to serve the dreams of the people that you employ. So let's go through it now. The first thing Josh Kaufman says is that a business is something that delivers something, creates and delivers something of value. So the question now is, how do we test the viability of a business? On what metrics would we decide that, oh, I think this business is going to start the test of time? I think there's a potential here to grow this business to doing something about 1 billion or 100 millions in revenue. And the first thing we have decided to look at is this: how does your business serve a huge expanding market, right? Does your business serve a huge and expanding market? Because the possibility of your business growing is highly dependent on how huge the market is and if your market is constantly growing. I give an instance, right? A couple of years ago, before the internet blew up, it was an impeccable idea to own a cyber cafe. Does anyone remember how a cyber cafe works? You buy, you give them money, they give you a paper, and then on the paper is written how many minutes you have. You go into the desktop, you type in a password, and then you're able to surf the internet. You're able to send mails, you're able to use Facebook. Did anybody use the internet at that point, or am I just too old or too young? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay, great. So when back then in the days, we used to use the internet by going to a cyber cafe, and it was a great business idea. People loved to go to the cafes. But the question right now is, would it be a great business idea to start up a cyber cafe? No. Before now, people used to buy airtime in recharge cards, right? And there were recharge card outlets everywhere. Slowly that went away, and now we can buy airtime by just using codes and buying directly from your bank app. That market too has slowly faded away. Now, when it comes to businesses now, as much as we are looking to solve a problem and to create impact as entrepreneurs, one thing we want to decide quickly is to understand if the market you're trying to cater for is expanding or it is shrinking. If it's expanding, then you are in the good. If it's shrinking, what you want to decide now is it shrinking at a geometric rate, slow enough, or at an arithmetic rate? Is it shrinking at a point where I can stay for a couple of years more and then get into it and become the biggest person in the market, tap into it and leave? Or if it's shrinking, how soon can I leave the market? The next thing that would determine the viability of your business would be if you're able to create your product or your service into a unique product. What this literally means is, are you able to move people from the business category of wanting that product to wanting you in particular? Now, say for instance, if you're in real estate, right, there are 1,001 realtors in the Nigerian real estate market. However, the Nigerian real estate market is an ever expanding market. If you're in the agri sector, the agri sector is an ever expanding market. Now, the fact that it's an ever expanding market means that there are so many professionals in that space. Your question now for yourself would be, how do you distinguish yourself either from your value proposition, from your selling proposition, or from the type of properties that you market? How do you create for yourself a different category for you? I give you products that have done this for themselves. For instance, the iPhone, right? The iPhone has successfully created for themselves a category that they stand on. And so now it is the iPhone and then Android devices. Even within the Android devices, right, there is the Samsung and then there are other Android devices. Even among the Android devices, there is the Samsung and then there is the Techno, the what are the Techno, Itel, Infinix. The funny thing is Techno, Itel, Infinix are all owned by one company. But what have they done for themselves to make them unique? They have developed three different products in their own company so that they can touch at every point of contact for the customers, right? So if you want a more high-end Android device within there for them, you probably go for the Techno. You want something a little good as the Techno, but not as expensive as the Techno, you go for an Infinix. You want something as good as an Infinix, but not as expensive as an Infinix, you go for the itel device. The question now is, how do you create your product in a way that it is so unique that people now want just you? If you're able to do that with your product, then you have something that is viable. The third thing would be now is your business, is it in the right time? Because what we find is that you could have a product that is viable, you could create a product that is unique, but if that product is not in its time, it will naturally die. So I give you an instance, right? Before, say, let's talk about e-commerce. Before we had Jumia and Konga, we had everything. We had OLX, we had DayPay, but then all of these business have slowly faded away. Why? Because they came up at a time where Nigerians weren't really in the habit of shopping online. Nigerians still had immense trust issues about, buying something without seeing it and waiting for it to be delivered to them. On the flip side now, If you shop on Instagram, you shop on TikTok shop, or you shop on Facebook, you would pay someone for an item without seeing the person, and you will wait for your delivery to be done for 3 to 4 working days. And you know, businesses are transacting rapidly right now. Another example too would be Instagram. Instagram isn't really the first photo sharing app. But Instagram right now came up at a point where people were really now to share their lives with people on the outside. We have YouTube. YouTube wasn't really the first video showing app or video streaming app. We had MySpace before that. But MySpace came up at the time too when people weren't really invested in using their data to watch videos. Look at Netflix, right? So the question you want to ask yourself is your business right now, is it in its time? Let's take a very relatable example for Nigeria. Before now, when networking, I was trying to say something. Okay. So before now, when it comes to the telemarket space in Nigeria, way back we had MTN and we had Celtel. They came into the Nigerian market, talking about the when Nigerians needed to get online and to get using mobile devices. However, Celtel moved from being Celtel to being Econet to being V Mobile to being Airtel, and now they are to being V Mobile, and now they are Airtel. The reason why they had to sell the business consecutively while MTN retained, their original proposition is because they came at a point where you know, mobile network wasn't really a thing for Nigerians. But the edge that MTN had is that MTN had pioneer status in the telemarketing, sorry, in the network marketing space, right? And so what the federal government did for MTN naturally is because they have pioneer status, they had to go tax free for 10 years. And so what that means is that the government knows how difficult it is to educate a market when you're coming into a market that is not in its time. And so what they do is allow you to operate and use that same tax money that you would have paid to go back into investing the business, go back into educating the business, because they expect that it's going to take a while for you to get the audience to know the product that you want once the product and patronize you. So if your product isn't in its time, what you want to do now is to either create another product while you watch for that product to see when it really gets into its time, and then tapping into the market that maybe someone else has already created for you. Because that's exactly what Globalcom did, right? Allowed MTN to create the knowledge about the industry, allow Airtel to create the knowledge, and just come in already to an already created market, right? The next thing you want to do that will determine if your business is viable is if your business gives you leverage. In the beginning, the very first slide, we talked about what do people really want. And one of the things that we said is that people want a business that is going to give them, peace of mind, give them ease, give them access to good health, give them access to good education. So now it takes us back to that. The business you're currently operating or the business you want to go into, does it give you the leverage to do all the things that you want to do? Can it be created into a repeated process that does not require that you constantly doctor it? Is it a business that can evolve to you creating structure, procedure, processes, um, corporate governance around it? Is it a business that is going to, for the rest of your life and the rest of the business life, drain you? Because at the end of the day, it is counterproductive. It takes away from the joy of entrepreneurship. So that's another thing you want to check. Does your business give you leverage to grow? Does it give the business itself leverage to grow? And does it give you leverage to enjoy the good things of life? Now, back again to the definition, right? It says that something that other people want or need. So the question now is, how needed are your offers? If you're in business right now, we believe that a business could either be a painkiller or it could be a vitamin. And so I'll tell you what that means, right? If a business is a painkiller, it means that whatever, okay, okay, so it means so for us to understand that if you have a headache, right, paracetamol is really cheap. You can get paracetamol anywhere, or maybe Panadol, or maybe diclofenac. All of these drugs are very easily available and are quite affordable. When you buy them, they prefer you almost instant solution. The good thing to them, however, as painkillers, is that for as long as you have that pain, you're going to be somewhat dependent on on that product. On the flip side, and that's a good thing, right? Because that means that you're always going to have people patronizing you. On the flip side, if you are selling a vitamin, vitamins are quite expensive. As one ages, you need to now start supplementing the vitamins that your body needs, that your body probably cannot get from the food that you eat. Over time, vitamins become just as important as your painkillers would be. For painkillers, if you get the root source of the pain, you automatically cut out the need for the painkillers. For vitamins, you would, as you age, need that for almost the rest of your life. Now, let's go back now and apply that to your business. Some people have businesses that are painkillers. They offer you instant solution to your problem, but they don't really solve the root cause of your problem. They don't even intend to solve the root cause of your problem because that's where they get their money from. On the flip side, some businesses are vitamins. You need them. So, for instance, real estate is a vitamin. You need real estate if you're going to make wealth. You need a form of investment. You need to create a financial portfolio if you're going to create wealth for yourself. For instance, the jewelry market is a painkiller. Everybody is going to have actually one time or the other during the year. Everybody's going to have an event that they want to look so good for. So they will always go back to patronizing you. Right? So what you want to identify now is, how needed are your offers? Are you able to categorize your offers or your business into one of this category? Is my business a painkiller or is my business a vitamin? And how can I move my business from being a painkiller to maybe being a vitamin? And even if my business is a painkiller, how can I have people to constantly have headaches so that they are constantly patronizing me? How can I even be their headache? Bro, please don't be anybody's headache. But I hope like someone understands what I'm trying to say, right? So the next thing you want to understand then would be, Josh Kaufman says that at a price that they are willing to pay. And to be very fair, pricing is relative because people really do not buy anything because of how much it costs. Think about how many times that you have wanted to buy. I mean, I personally, you want to buy something, you know that this product is most expensive at this store. But there's just something about how they market their product. Or there's just this sense of belonging that you get from patronizing them that makes you want to buy products from them or use their service, regardless of the fact that you know that just somewhere down the street you can get that for maybe less the price by 20%. Because at the end of the day, people buy things based on how they feel, based on how that product makes them feel. And so on my screen, we have a pyramid that shows you the categories that businesses can fall into and how you can serve that. Because humans have these needs on the screen. The basic needs that humans have would be the psychological needs. So it will be air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. So right now on this pyramid, I need us to take time and look at it. Where does your business fall in? Does your business solve a psychological need for people? Does it serve a safety need for people? Does it serve a need for love and belonging, for esteem, or for self actualization? Depending on how far up the pyramid your business is, your pricing can be as high up as that. and how low down your business is in the pyramid, it also not shows that you will have so many repeated clients, because if it's a low price entry product, a lot of people will come in there. Your job is to get a funnel that gets them to be there as often as they have that need, right? Because at the end of the day, if your business is able to tap into any one of these requirements that humans have, right? If your business is solving any one of these human needs that humans have, again, Josh Kaufman says your product should be needed at a price that they are willing to pay. However, what determines the growth of your business, the success of your business, how much you're able to scale your business, it's not even about the clients that you don't have. Let me take that again. Lots of businesses fail in Nigeria, not because they are unable to get new business or because they're unable to attract new clients. No. A lot of businesses fail in Nigeria because we are unable to leave the clients that we have with us as satisfied as we can make them. Think about how many times you walked into a store, right? And because of the customer care person or the salesperson or the front desk person, you told yourself that you're not going to patronize this business. It would have been nice if you stopped there. I mean, I can call out myself, right? It would be nice if I just stop and say, I'm not going to patronize this business. What I would do is that I would tell everybody that I know and their mama not to patronize that business because this is what they have done. Maybe they added an extra item that I did not add to them in this, to my shopping list, or maybe the, customer person was really, really rude. I'm going to say that because I don't want any other person that I know to have that same experience. Now think about how many other customers would do the same thing because of a simple displeasure. And one thing I find that a lot of businesses do is that they forget that the success entry level of one client would mean that from one client you could get more than 50 other clients based on referrals. At the Strategy Factory, we have a whole module that talks about the marketing channels. And one of the many things that we find that works exceptionally well is referrals. Referrals are the lifeline of a lot of businesses in Nigeria. And the reason why a lot of people have problems with creating as much referrals for themselves is that business owners forget that the same way you treat somebody that pays you 50,000 naira is the same way you should treat someone that pays you 50 million naira. Because the person that has paid you 50,000 naira either has the potential to pay you 50,000 naira, has the potential to either pay you 50 million naira, or has someone within their network that can pay you that amount. So, how well do your customers feel about using your products? How well do you create their shopping experience or their business experience with you? That's one thing that will determine how viable your business would be. And Josh Kaufman still says that for the business to make enough profit for the owner to still be in business, because at the end of the day, you could have a great strategy, you could have customers working in, but if you're not making profits, just close the shop or just close the business, right? It's like people that sell groceries, say biscuits and sweets and edible things for children. So every time that a woman that sells biscuit and sweets dashes you something or gives you something extra from her shop, she can just close the shop down for that month, because those little 5 naira and 10 naira and 15 naira is the profit that she makes in her business. Now, when we say that profits are the future of the business, is the fact that if a business isn't making profit, at the end of the day, you would have to close the shop. You would have to close down business. You'd have to downsize your staff. You'd have to employ people that would not probably give you the best services that you need to scale your business. So if you create a business right now, or you're running a business right now that is not giving you profit, two things would happen. And to be fair, you can't really measure profits by how much you're making right now, right? Because whatever business you're into that you're actively making money from, in the first 5 years, what you want to do is invest that money back into your business. So that isn't entirely profit. If you're into real estate and you're getting paid your commission, what you want to do is put a fraction of that money that you make from commission back into the marketing channel that helped you close that deal. So was it by referral? Was it by digital ad? Was it by someone that you have talked to in the past from your drip list? Put that money, a huge chunk of the commission that you have made from that sales, back into the business to ensure that you can, again, like Josh Kaufman says, repeat the process. So if the process of that sales isn't documented, you don't know exactly how it happened, then you cannot repeat the profit a lot of times, because if it's not duplicatable, you can't replicate that success again. It's almost like a miracle because it just happened, right? And so what we want to now finally decide to understand is that wealth, profit, is not measured in time. It's measured in time, sorry, and not in numbers. Right. What I mean by it's measured in time and not in numbers, technically, is that if it takes you as a salesperson, say in real estate, if it takes you about 45 hours to close a deal, and the deal goes through and the person pays, and it takes you another 24 hours to close two deals, you have made more money in 24 hours than you have made in 48 hours, because the value of your money at that point, the value of your time at that point, is in how much money you're able to make in the shortest period of time. So the question then would be, how much time does it take you to close a deal? How can you reduce that time frame? How much time does it take you to create a lead? How much time can you do? What can you do to reduce that time frame? Because take for instance, right? And let's even just look at it generally in life, and see how like wealth is measured in time and really not in numbers, right? For instance, a man in his 50s have lived a huge chunk of his life, right? And if in his 50s he's probably made say 50 million, right? His entire life. And he's proudful, and he's had a successful life, which he has, and he's using that to mock a young man in say his 20s. Wealth in this time, in this case, is not in how much either of them have made during the course of their life. Wealth in reality is how much more time the man in his 20s has before he gets to his 60s, and the possibility that could exist within the time frame of that. So what you want to do now is to create a business that requires less more time for execution, less more time for process to be created, and a lot more time for action to happen, for results to happen, right? And so what I want us to do right now is to take a very, very quick exercise. This exercise we find has helped a lot of businesses, every business that has gone through working with us, identify exactly where their money is going to, how best they can use their money, and how they can grow a business that would, you know, help with the life of the people that they employ and also help with theirs. Now, I know that this class hasn't been the most interactive, but I'd like for us to take this interactive section for another maybe 5-10 minutes. So is anyone down to take it with me? Anyone? Because if you're really not interacting, then we can't take this session. And if we can't take this session, we can as well just end the class and, okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Tonia. Oh, it depends on how much activity. We have about, say, 10. How much is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 Oh, some of us are multitasking. Oh, okay. So here's what the activity is about, right? What your activity measures is how much you spend as a person per year, per day, and per month, right? So for instance, I'm gonna go ahead straight up. And the numbers that we're going to be seeing here could be numbers that we have never imagined possible. I did this session sometime we had a session sometime last week at LCCI, and one man came to me and said he spent approximately 5.6 million naira on just himself per month, and he has no idea where his money is going to until he did this session, right? And after the session, he had to ask us how exactly is he going to be able to reduce that amount, because that obviously is the reason why he's not making any progress in his business, right? So that's what the session is about. That's what the activity is about. The first thing we want to check is how much you spend in rent. If you are in Lagos, chances are you pay rent per year. So let's say that your rent is about, say, 5 million naira per year. You want to divide that by the number of months in the year, which is 12 months, right? So when you do that, you can, on a piece of paper, if you have one right now, which I would strongly recommend, or on your mobile device, calculate 5 million naira, assuming that's how much you pay in rent, and divide that by 12 months and write that for yourself. When you're done with that, just write RE done on the chat box. And after that, we go on to the next item on the list, which is transportation. So if there's anyone following me on this activity, calculate how much you spend in rent per year, divide that by 12 months. You can even go as far as dividing that by 365 days. What this will show you is how much you should technically be saving every month in rent, or how much you should be saving every month in every day in rent. The next thing we want to think about now is transportation. If you're driving, you should probably have an estimate of how much you spend fueling your car every month. So that could be 70, 100, 150,000 per week for some people. Multiply that by 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then you have how much you spend per month on fueling your car. For some people, they take a ride to work. So if you take a ride to work, you would calculate how much you spend to on a ride to and fro every week and every day, sorry, and multiply that by the number of days that you have to go to work. Because I find that some people have to work remotely on some days, and for some people, they work every day. So calculate it by the number of days that you go to work, and that's how much you spend on transportation per week. You can now go ahead to multiply that per month. If you take a public transport, it might cost you 4,000 to go to work every day. Multiply that by the number of times you go to work. That's how much you spend on transportation per day. Sorry, per week, right? The next thing that we would ideally talk about is utility. Utility, and if you're choosing to not calculate this, I want you to do a mental picture in your head how much you approximately think that you spend. Utility would include your light bill, your estate dues, your DSTV, Netflix subscription, Prime, Hulu, what have you. All of that subscription, that's how much you spend in utility. If you're able to calculate all of that together, then you can have that number for yourself. The next thing will be feeding cost. Feeding cost is not the money that you spend buying food stuff. Feeding cost is the money that you spend eating out of work. So this could be restaurant stops, this could be ordering takeouts, this could be snack, one shawarma here or there, a burger, suya, you know, that's how much you spend for feeding costs. You could calculate that daily, multiply that by the number of the days in the week, and have that for your weekly expenses. Multiply that by the days of the month, and you have that. The next now would be groceries. Grocery, I find, is easily the most expensive, right? Because this includes the housekeep things, food stuff, toiletries, what have you. If you're able to calculate how much you spend on that daily, which I doubt that people do, but how much do you spend on grocery monthly for yourself? You calculate that, you have that figure for yourself. The next would be school fees. If you've got children, how much do you spend on your children's school fees? And to calculate that, if you have three children, they all go to school for 3 terms. And per term, you want to calculate how much you spend for each child's school fees per term. Calculate that by the 3 terms that they are in for the 3 children that you have. That's how much you spend for your children's school fees. If you're someone that is very interested in personal development and you take classes for yourself, then maybe someone that has a class on Udemy and is paying for certification, someone taking a professional course, anyone doing masters here, anyone probably doing a course at Lagos Business School, something like that. That is also school fees for yourself. So you want to also calculate that. The next will be personal expenses. The personal expenses for a woman could be nail appointments, lash appointments, hair appointments, spa appointments, gym, what have you. That's how much you spend on personal expenses. You want to write that down for yourself. And if you are a man, this could be maybe tire repairs, a couple of Hennessy XO with the guys on a Friday evening. It could be, haircuts. It could be something, gifting. So that's personal expense for yourself. You want to calculate that and have that written somewhere. Childcare expense would be everything you spend on your children aside from school fees. So gifting them on their birthday, taking them to see a movie, taking them to the playground, something around that. That's a childcare expense. Now, if you don't have children, in all of these things that I've said, children, then good Mary to you, right? If you do have children, you want to take cognizance of that and then add that into your calculations. The next will be communication. Communication is airtime and data. This one is the silent thief. Can you calculate how much? When I did this calculation for myself, just for airtime and data, I knew that I could have easily bought a car with the money that I spend on airtime and data, and I caught it real good, right? So maybe calculate how much you spend on these two, especially if you're very internet savvy, and figure out how much money you spend on that. And the next will be giving. A lot of people think that they don't give or they shouldn't calculate how much they give, right? But in case you don't know, there's someone that every month, if you check the occurrence, they have you somewhere as their lifeline every month. They know exactly when your company pays. They know exactly when you are soft. They know exactly how to take money from you and how to tell you the things to drop the money. So the money that you give to people, the money that you probably give to the orphanage and the motherless baby homes, very important. Your tithing, your offerings, the money that you give to your family, the money that you give to your wife, the money that you give to your girlfriend, all of that. Right, that one. So you want to calculate that and maybe any other expense that I possibly haven't added. Right? Now, if anyone here took time to mentally calculate that, I want you to look at the numbers right now and tell me what it's looking like. I know, right? Airtime and data is a thief, a very silent one. Now, did anyone here do a mental calculation for themselves? I know this is supposed to be an activity, but we had to slide through it. But did you mentally calculate how much you spend per week or per month? If you did, just write yes, and let me know what it looked like mentally for you. Okay, I'm guessing no response. But now let's go to the real reason why we had to take that class, that activity. The reason is this: Does your business right now pay you that amount as salary? Whatever number you think that I know. I know. Thank you. Thank you, Akinolua. So the question now would be, does your business pay you that amount, right, in salary right now? If you are a 9 to 5, does your 9 to 5 pay you the amount that you spend or that you have calculated or that you have assumed? Wow. Wow. 20K weekly on data. I told you guys, silence, especially since these network providers reviewed their internet tariff. It's been off the roof. It's like the moment you scroll on Instagram and YouTube twice, 200 MB remaining. I'm like, how? You know, it's wild. Um, However, the question that we want to know right now, right? Because again, we said that a business is something that that creates enough profit for you, the entrepreneur, to stay in business, to continue doing business. So if your business right now is not paying you enough for you to continue doing business, for you to succeed, and there's somewhere somehow a problem, and the problem could be in your strategy, the problem could be in the conceptualization of the business. But this is not even the biggest question that you want to ask. Remember in the beginning, I said, why exactly are you in business? What do you really need? And I said a lot of us start our businesses because we want our business to provide a solution for us, which is great. But that is thinking too small. That is not thinking big enough. The real question that you want to ask yourself, if you want to build a business that is bigger than you, is this: how big does your business need to get to be able to pay 20 people in your organization such an amount monthly? The money, the number that we have assumed, supposedly calculated right now from that activity, how big, how soon does your business need to be for it to be able to pay 20 people that amount monthly? When you're able to create a business that big, then maybe we can get talking. Then maybe you're creating something that is transformative, something that is going to transcend you, something that is going to become a revolution, a business that is sellable, scalable, right? And that's exactly what we teach people at the Strategy Factory. We teach them strategies to help them grow their business well enough that it serves them, the purpose for which they want it to, but also big enough that your business now is a problem solving machine for the people that work for you. And so the Strategy Factory really offers you a thorough understanding on what a business is, the strategy on how to create proper value proposition for your business, um, how to understand people, processes, and control for your business, how to price your market, proper industry analysis. It teaches you value innovation, how to identify HNIs and how to sell to them. It teaches you business networking. The Strategy Factory talks about how to sell. We have an entire module on selling, right? And all of this alongside 10 hours of in-depth strategy with about 40 other entrepreneurs like yourself in the room. And this session happens at the Eco Hotel and Suite. And we have the last session happening on the last Friday of this month, on the 26th of this month, right? And when you attend the Strategy Factory, you're going to get access to the class virtually for the rest of your life. You're going to get access to our alumni community of about 4,000 businesses right now. So that means that every Wednesday The community is opened up for you to talk about your business, to sell your business and have people within the community patronize you. And over the course of the years, we've been able to do more than 10 billion in revenue within the community, within people, within Lim Simple, that have traded business from those posts, right? Because within the community, you're able to build trust, and we can hold businesses accountable. And then after the training, you also get a one-on-one strategy session with our in-house consultants to talk to you about exactly what struggles your business is encountering and how to practically solve them. And so that's what the strategy factory entails. Now, if you are in this session right now and you'd like to have a conversation with Adeyinka to talk about exactly how the strategy factory can be tailored to suit your business, would you be kind to drop your number so that she can schedule a call with you sometime next week so that you can have that conversation with her? And during the conversation, you can go ahead and tell her that I said that you have been given access to a discount because you already went through the intro class of the strategy factory. If there's anyone here that would like to have that conversation with her, would you please write your number on the chat so she can reach out to you directly? Oh, my name is Melvis. My name is Melvis. I did state that at the beginning. Here's my name. All right, thank you, sir. So again, would anyone like to? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Uche. Was there anyone that would like to jump on a call with Adeyinka tomorrow to figure out exactly what your business is doing and how the strategy factory can help them, you know, increase their revenue in the last quarter of the year? Kindly drop a number so that she can reach out to you over the course of the week. Okay. So in the absence of no other number, do we have any questions? Are there any questions or any contributions? Any questions or any contributions? Great. So in the absence of none,
I
thank you so
have.
much, everyone.
I
Oh,
I
okay, okay,
have.
okay.
Okay, I want to ask what how does the academy runs? I've not
Okay.
really.
So by the academy, do you mean the strategy factory itself?
Yes.
Okay, so the strategy factory, like I said, is a 10-hour session at Eco Hotel, 10 hours of in-depth strategy, 10 hours of, oh, thank you very much, Afolabi. 10 hours of strategy creation, 10 hours of business analysis, uh, games and activities surrounding business, 10 hours of networking with other entrepreneurs in the room, 10 hours of access to Mr. Ezekiel Sholesi, our head coach at the Strategy Factory. And then what you also get after the Strategy Factory now is a consultation session. That is where the crux of the matter is, right? You get a 2 hours consultation or 1 hour consultation, depending on how much time you need with our consultants, right? Where Thank you very much, sir. Where you analyze what is working in your business, what you need for your business to do in a set period of time, and then the both of you now work around a strategy to to get the result that you're looking to achieve in your business. Now you also now get access to use our platform now to sell your product on set days of the week.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But again, when you jump on that call with Adeinka, you guys are going to be able to fine tune things to better fit your business. From the strategy factory, depending on the industry that you operate in, we can open up networking opportunities for you with industry experts. So, for instance, what do you do, sir?
Okay. I'm a real estate consultant.
Oh, okay. Come on. Um, Jump on that call with Adeinka. Yinka, are you here?
I can hear you.
No, no, I'm trying to confirm that Yinka is here.
Okay.
Okay, great. So when you jump on the call with Adeinka, you guys will flesh out things and she'll tell you exactly how we've worked with real estate consultants to help them, 10x their results in a very short period of time. And based on what you're looking to achieve right now, she would able to, help you tailor things out to fit you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you
Also,
very much.
is it the 750? Is it for
Okay,
the
okay, so so
registration?
so so there are two classes, right? One
Okay.
is the convent because I want to be sure what we're talking about. The class I'm talking about right now is a strategy factory. It's a one-day event. I think you're talking about the convention.
Is the convention I'm preparing? I'm more like
Okay,
preparing
you're
for.
talking about the convention. Okay, great. So I'm gonna be the one to call you for the convention, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna take your number now. My name is Melvis. I'm gonna give you a call for the convention tomorrow, and we're going to flesh out, things for you. Okay?
No problem.
All right.
Because actually I'm looking at where I stay right now, so I wouldn't want to. I can't come over Lagos now.
Oh, the convention is in November. To be fair.
I know. I mean the other class now.
Okay. I understand you. I understand you. So like I said, I'll call you later tomorrow, and we'll be able to flesh out things. Okay, sir?
Okay, it's okay for me.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, everybody, too, and have a swell weekend and a great week tomorrow. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. God bless you.
Bless you too, sir.